Well, here we are, we're back. It's Monday Night Football and we've got an absolutely brilliant fixture tonight. We've got Everton versus Tottenham. Tottenham fighting for top four, Everton trying to stay away from relegation. And it's been a real challenge for us, Dave, hasn't it, in terms of deciding what to run with tonight with all the news that's come through in the last 24 hours. We
always thought it might be lively the first weekend back after the international break because of the fixtures. Every game, it felt like, had something on it. But then you throw in the external factors. First of all, it was Leicester City parting ways with Brendan Rodgers, and then that big bombshell last night on Chelsea. Did it surprise you?
Yes, in that there's a game tomorrow against Liverpool, but surprised me in terms of Chelsea sacking Graham Potter. I thought it would be inevitable. So between now and the end of the season, at some stage, I thought he may have got till maybe the Champions League game. I think that would have been fairer, considering when you look at what he's done in the Champions League, got them out the group stage, beat Borussia Dortmund. I thought he'd get the chance to go up against Real Madrid, but no, it never felt like the right fit to me, really, and not surprised, no.
So 12 managers have now lost their job this season. Only 5 have been there in their job for more than 2 years. Is this the way that the Premier League is heading now? We need to get used to this?
I think there's an element of desperation more than ever, isn't there? Just the fear of going down. I don't think we've ever seen it as tight at the bottom, which obviously means that you've seen obviously record numbers of managers being sacked. Obviously Graham Potter's at the top of the league and Tottenham at the top of the league, but the ones at the bottom that are changing, like Leicester, obviously to see Leicester go in the bottom 3 is sobering. When you think of where they've been in the last few years. Everton, obviously, we were just talking before off camera about the amount of money that's gone into that club, the charge that's obviously against them at this moment in time. I don't think we take any pleasure. Obviously, you're a Liverpool fan. I don't really they're not my clubs, but we don't take any pleasure in this fear that exists with the teams that potentially go down and the consequences of going down. But the reality of it is, we've all said, probably everybody in the country in the last couple of weeks, well, I think Bournemouth will go, I think Southampton will go. But Bournemouth have an unbelievable result at the weekend. They're proving us, they're proving to us that they're going to be right in it till the end of the season. Crystal Palace obviously get a bit of a response. We sort of swing back and forward and flip-flop week to week of who we think's going to go down, who we think's in trouble. It makes it a compelling end to the season. Top 4, title, relegation. I don't think I've seen it as competitive with only this few games to go on all fronts, and it's unbelievable. And are you worried about Everton? You must be in some way.
No, I mean, I'm convinced that Sean Dyche will keep Everton up. I really do. I think they've
even
always
with the
got
fixtures.
Yeah, listen, the tough fixtures. Everyone's got tough fixtures. I think a lot of the teams near the bottom, because there's so many involved, they all feel like they're playing each other every week. It seems like there's a 6-pointer. But I think Sean Dyche is the manager who a lot of teams who are without a manager, maybe Leicester right now, maybe even Forest in a couple of weeks. There's talk of Steve Cooper losing his job. I think when they look at it, they probably all look at Sean Dyche and see what Everton have done, obviously a few months ago, and think, I wish we'd have got him, in terms of just staying in the league. So I'm more confident, not so much about the Everton squad, more the manager they've got, and probably the atmosphere we'll see tonight playing at Goodison Park. I think that'll be enough to keep them up.
The race for the top 4 is also compelling. Of course, we're watching Spurs tonight, and now we've got a situation where Newcastle have leapt over Manchester United yesterday into 3rd, then Manchester United, Spurs. If it's just those 3, what order would you put them in likelihood for clinching a top 4 spot at this time?
I've said before Manchester United, and to be fair, I've even said Liverpool and Tottenham before Newcastle. But I was really impressed with Newcastle yesterday. But they've got 3 really tough away games now. I don't think Eddie Howe, after that game yesterday, will be getting carried away. He knows how difficult it's going to be. But they're in with a massive shout, and to be there, none of us expected them to be there so quickly. But I'm going to stick with the predictions that I've made previously. I'm not going to change because of one weekend, because you change, and then the weekend after, Newcastle lose a game and Tottenham win all of a sudden. Tottenham win tonight, and you're thinking, hang on, are United going to get in the top 4? So I'll just stick with what I've gone for previously, but not with any surety anymore, to be fair, because the reality of it is I've never seen it as tight.
Final word on Spurs. It's going to be really interesting, isn't it, to see the reaction post-Conte rant?
Yeah, it will. And I think if you think of that dressing room, have they got something to prove? I don't think so in terms of Conte, because I think probably half the dressing room didn't like him. Maybe one of the reasons why that connection wasn't there, and maybe one of the reasons why he erupted like that after that Southampton game. But I don't think the appointment of Conte's number 2 will enthuse that dressing room and give them a big sort of enthusiasm boost tonight to go on this run to get top 4. I think they'll have a great shout, like Gary said, they'll be there to the death. But I don't think the appointment of Conte's number 2 is going to massively change or give this dressing room a lift?
I've just thought of something, and maybe it's something for people at home, or maybe we can have a look ourselves in the next hour.
Can't wait to hear what this is.
Where's this going?
But what I'm saying is, has it ever worked really well where a manager has taken over, a number two has taken over from a number? It probably has.
It's very rare, though, isn't it?
But I'm saying, when has it worked? It probably has done, and I'm not thinking of the obvious maybe here, but I'm trying to think of when it has worked, whereby a number two has picked it up from a failed number one, but a number one that's basically been sacked. Has a number two ever picked it up and gone and ran forward with it and done really well? Maybe that's something we can think about. Who's been the best that's done that?
Phil?
Tell you what you think. Did he? No, it didn't any better. We've got a lot to fit in, and we will do our best to cram it all in when you join us at 7 o'clock.